Well, tonight we're learning that a Williamsville native was killed in a small plane crash in Arizona. Authorities say 53-year-old Alan Ram was the pilot of a single-engine plane that crashed yesterday on a golf course.
A 22-year-old woman also died in that crash. News 4's Dave Graber has the latest on the investigation. Dave?
Well, Williamsville native Alan Ram is being remembered as a self-starter who was driven to succeed even at an early age. And as an adult, someone who became one of the country's biggest automotive sales trainers. Ram died in the crash Monday afternoon in Mesa, Arizona, when the plane he was flying had some sort of mechanical trouble and went down less than a mile from the nearest airport. The FAA says Ram reported mechanical trouble and was on approach to Falcon Field Airport when the plane went down on a fairway at Longbow Golf Club in Mesa. Both Ram and 22-year-old Krista Buchanan were killed in the crash. Although Ram left Western New York after joining the military, specifically the Marines, at age 18, he would often come back to train local dealerships, especially Northtown and West Her. West Her COO Jed Hunter sent a statement this afternoon saying they were saddened to hear of Alan's passing. He called Ram a talented trainer who shared his energy and expertise in a simple and sincere way. I also sat down this afternoon with David DePasquale, the general manager of Northtown Lexus, who has known Ram since they were 10 years old. He showed us these photos of Alan and Krista, which were sent back to him in December, showing his friend, his new plane, and his new bride-to-be.
If he met you and he liked you, there was always a special place in his heart for you. And it didn't matter how much money he made, because he was very successful. He stayed in touch with people, and he was very appreciative of relationships. I'm just so disappointed when you let me know about the news. But you know what? Not too many people in this area become that successful nationwide. And hats off to Alan.
Now, in addition to being well known in the automotive community, DePasquale also said that his friend was well known in the tennis community. He said he started playing at an early age, and much like the rest of his life, he was successful in that area as well. Reporting live in the newsroom tonight, Dave Graber, News 4 at 6.